This is the ARID-DRY MS2400/2000 desiccant dehumidifier. It's capable of up to 2400 CFM in the high setting. We're here to show you a quick startup guide to how to hook the unit up, how to make it operational. The first step to hooking up the MS2400 is removing all 4 shipping covers for the reactivation airstream and process airstream. There are 2 covers located on this end of the unit and 2 covers on the opposite end of the unit. The covers are removed by loosening the quick connect duct clamp and pulling the cover off and storing it in place on the unit. After these 2 are removed, we move to the opposite end of the unit and remove those 2 covers. All 4 must be removed for proper operation. The next step is to check the electrical connections in the control panel. The control panel is located on top of the unit, and you remove 2 7/16" bolts from the end, and then the panel can be lifted and opened. Inside the panel, you'll see the electrical components. You'll want to go through the components and make sure everything is tight to the touch. Screwdrivers are an essential part of this. You want to check everything in the panel, make sure all the wires are tight before any power is applied to the panel. The circuit breakers are here for the heater system, for the motor starters. These should be checked and make sure they're in the vertical position. If they are popped, you'll see the circuit breaker in about the 2/3 to 3/4 position. It needs to be cycled all the way back and then cycled back on to bring the unit back onto operation. The starters are here. Control transformer. This is a phase monitor and voltage monitor to monitor the phase of the electric power coming in and the voltage. If either one of those is incorrect, it will prevent the unit from operating and it will light a fault light. Here are some more circuit breakers for the control part of the unit. And this is the brains of the unit, the little Corel controller that controls the reactivation heat capacity, the blower staging, and then monitors all the phases of operation. The electrical diagram is located on the back side of the control panel cover, and it covers all the electrical functions of the unit for troubleshooting. After completing your review of the electrical control cabinet, it should always be closed before applying electric power to the system. Filter maintenance is very important to protect the desiccant wheel. To inspect the filters, you open the quick connect doors. Open the door, remove the filter, and inspect. Dirty filters should be replaced immediately, and you can replace the filter and close the door. There's a filter compartment for the reactivation airstream and a filter compartment for the process airstream located on the opposite side of the unit. Using the screwdriver again, we can unlock the filter access door for the process air filters. Open the door and you can see the filters mounted in the frame. There's 3 filters in this particular unit to maintain. This unit is equipped with a high-low rating for the reactivation airstream. And the high uses 51.4 full load amps at 460 volt 3-phase. On the low setting, it uses 29.2 amps for reactivation energy. If you're going to use the low setting, we need to restrict the airflow for the process and reactivation airstream, so we include 2 restrictor plates for use during low reactivation setting. To operate in the high setting, the selector switch should be moved to high, and the restrictor plate can be removed by simply removing the 2 pins, rotating the plate, and removing it. There's also a set of pins located on the side of the unit to store the restrictor plate. For high-speed operation, the restrictor plate on the reactivation airstream must also be removed to allow the proper reactivation airflow. For the supply air outlet, which is a positive airstream, we recommend 6-inch pitch ducting, 6 inches between the reinforcing ribs on the ductwork. We take the 20-inch ductwork and we then connect it to the unit using the 4 quick connect clamps. The return ducting, we use 3-inch pitch ducting. So the dimension between the reinforcing ribs is 3-inch because this is a negative air pressure airstream and it can collapse the duct if it's not correct. We then take the duct and connect it to the 20-inch outlet on the unit using the quick connect duct clamps. The return ductwork is under a negative pressure or a suction pressure. Care should be taken to leave very large radius bends for the return airstream, and the bends should be secured so the unit doesn't suck the duct together and restrict airflow. Connect the other end of the ducting to the room that needs to be dehumidified. With the generator in off and the disconnect off and the selector switch off, we can now connect main power to the dehumidifier, starting with the ground wire. Power can be 460 volts to 480 volts, 3-phase, 60 cycles. Make sure and double verify all of the connections are tight as you twist the connectors. These are 400 amp cam lock connectors, considered the large connector. With all 4 of the high voltage lines now connected, we can start the generator and begin the startup of the system. With the main power now connected with 480 volt 3-phase, we can turn the main disconnect to on. This will initiate a green light that shows that the power is on to the unit, and it'll start warming up the microprocessor. You should anticipate a delay of 30 seconds to 1 minute until the microprocessor does its self-check and then allows the unit to start sequencing. After the microprocessor did its self-check, it started checking through the circuits and found that we have other faults and a general alarm. Both of these, upon startup, normally will indicate an out-of-phase situation. So in that event, we have to cut the power to the unit and cut the power to the generator and reverse 2 of the power leads to bring the unit back into phase. Okay, now we have reversed 2 of the power leads coming into the unit. We can now go ahead and turn the power switch back to on and turn the unit back to auto. And again, we have the delay where the microprocessor is going through its self-check process. If the self-check is complete, the unit should start within about a minute of applying power to the circuit. With the phase now corrected, we can ask the unit to operate. We can turn the switch to the auto position. When we do this, the microprocessor will first start the supply fan. The light will indicate green after it hits RPM. Then we'll start the reactivation fan, and the light will indicate green when we reach RPM. If the supply fan or the reactivation do not light, it could be possible that the humidistat plug is loose or disconnected, or the unit is connected to a remote humidistat, which would cause the unit to cycle on or off. There are 4 fault lights that indicate a problem with the unit. The first light, the other faults, indicated a phase issue with the electric power input. The second is a high limit, which measures the reactivation heated to temperature and will shut it down in case of a problem. This can be caused by a reactivation filter being dirty or a reactivation duct being closed or drawn shut. The third is a general alarm. And if this alarm lights, we go back to the microprocessor, and the microprocessor has a fault screen that will indicate what might have caused the general alarm. The other alarm light is the rotation fault, and that indicates a problem if the desiccant wheel is not revolving. The other faults that can cause a general alarm are if these two blowers for some reason do not prove that they're operating with an airflow proving switch. That completes all the fault reporting. We're now ready to start the unit and watch it sequence through its operational cycle. Now we can start the unit by switching the unit to automatic. Again, the microprocessor is going through its self-check, and we're going to wait for it to make sure all the safety circuits are operational and ready to go. This will take about 30 seconds to 1 minute to prove the self-checks. Supply blower on. Reactivation fan on. And we are dehumidifying. The life of the electric heaters is directly related to how the unit is turned off. The heaters operate at temperatures of 400 to 500 degrees during normal airflow operations. If you simply turn the disconnect switch off, the electric heaters can exceed their specified temperature and actually rupture and create a problem with the current. The proper way to turn the unit off is to turn the operational switch to the off position. This will allow the reactivation fan to spool down for 2 minutes and cool the electric heaters before the unit actually shuts down. Then it's safe to throw the main power disconnect and disconnect the power from the dehumidifier.